Welcome to the Nevcast, where three bros talk business, art, justice, and the pursuit of Jesus.
Any day above ground is a good day.
Get ready to laugh, cry, and kiss 30 minutes goodbye with Peter Nevland,
Dave Nevland,
and
Rashi.
So it's Rashi. Wait
it's
a
not
second.
Rashi.
You're
No,
Rashi,
Rashi.
you've changed. Hey, it's Amy. It's not Rashi.
Nope.
It's Amy Nevland. So you're Dave's wife, and
Rashi can't join us this week.
Yes,
sadly enough.
He's got school. He's trying to finishing up getting his class C commercial truck driver's license.
But he'll be with us again shortly.
Yes, he will. That's right. But in the meantime, we're talking to Amy Nevland. And Amy, not only are you Dave's wife,
True.
but you also are, well, you're an artist. I always like to say that, although you're always like, oh, whatever.
No, she's an excellent
She's
artist.
an amazing artist, but then
Most
as well,
of the time that helps our
you
kids.
You have a business. And what's the name of that business? It's
ATX Doulas, Peter.
ATX
That's right,
Doulas.
ATX Doulas.
And
She's also a well-known and well-loved birth educator as part of that business.
yeah, you were on TV not
It's
too long
true,
ago.
I was.
It was a cool episode. Watched that. Watched you.
This is what happens when you say yes to everything after drinking 2 beers.
After
Like, yeah,
drinking-
sure, that'd be fine. I could do that.
How did you get approached for that? How did you get approached to be the
She was the-
pre-birth educator for this TV show?
Well, I think they're doing a lot of filming in Austin more and more now, and so we get approached quite often as a business for various commercials like, hey, ATX Doulas, do you guys know any breastfeeding moms that would do this commercial for this thing, this product?
Yeah.
And will you send them our way? And then this particular time, they were doing some filming in Austin for a reality TV show like The Bachelorette, kind of.
Yeah. Right.
And this particular person was from Austin, and they were seeing if they were a good match. And the producer thought it would be funny to throw
Because
them
the couple
into...
was trying to have...
The couple wanted to have a baby right away.
Really quick.
The girl.
The girl was
girl
looking
wanted
for a
to have
husband who was
baby
ready
right
to start a
away,
family right
'cause
away.
she was 40 and feeling like her biological
ticking,
clock was
yeah.
ticking, and she was like, I want to have a baby. So
Right.
I'm going to find a man who wants to have a baby too. And the producer thought it'd be funny to throw him into a childbirth class without telling him.
Yeah, surprise.
Yeah,
Right.
so they said they were calling childbirth class instructors. They were just going through Google
Oh, right.
and
Okay.
calling instructors and saying, hey, would you teach a class on this day? We'll pay you.
Yeah.
And I happened to answer the phone after I had been out for my birthday drinking.
right.
And I said, yes, I will do that on a Wednesday. Sounds
Right.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And they were like, great, we'll tell you when and where. And I said, fantastic, I'll be there. And I had no idea. They didn't tell me what to say, what to wear, or what to do. I just show up at Auditorium Shores.
Yeah.
And they had other did they bring the other couples?
No, they kept calling me, and they were like, can you find other couples? We think that would be cool too.
Make
And
it
she
a
had to
class.
find
on-
three
yeah.
other pregnant couples.
It's fascinating to watch what goes on behind the scenes of reality TV shows. So much of it is on the fly. They
Oh,
just
yeah.
kind of just make it up as they go along
wing
and
it.
then edit it.
Yeah.
I think the power is in the post-production
absolutely.
Yes,
editing.
absolutely.
I mean,
That's where they
that
make
is-
the story.
that was
Well,
bananas.
don't tell any secrets, but I mean that's the power
That's
of the
what's
Nevcast.
happening
Is
here.
Caleb? We say a bunch of stupid
Yeah.
crap,
No.
and then Caleb
Well,
comes along and he
speak for
just
yourself,
like,
but yeah.
he just like edits us out, and he's like, I'm gonna actually make Peter sound intelligent.
Yes.
Dave, that's not a problem. Rashi, that's not a problem, but I'm gonna work on this. Isn't that right? I mean that's pretty much what happens. Caleb, he's like, I don't
Amy-
know. I don't want to say anything right now. I don't want to reveal my secrets.
One of the
That's
reasons
what
we have
happens.
Amy on today is
Turn the
because she
camera on.
always says intelligent things, and people say that about her all, and people tell me that all the
This is
time.
why I stay married to this guy. He's very sweet and kind to me. So anyway, I show up, and I have put together a couple of pregnant people to show up for this impromptu birthing class, and told them what I needed. And we're in the middle of Auditorium Shores.
Right.
And I didn't even have like yoga clothes. Who wears those? I don't. I'm too old for that. So
Did you say Yoda clothes?
Yoga.
Oh,
yoga clothes.
Okay, good.
Tight
Like,
fitting.
I thought I needed to
Yeah.
look like something. They didn't give me anything to go on. So I went to like Old Navy and I like went to their workout section and I looked at a mannequin and I thought, yeah, okay, I'll just buy that and I'll wear that. Sure. And there is the whole place all roped off and they have drones flying overhead. Everybody's running around wearing black and there's like food trucks set out for the producers and everything. And I
Wow.
thought, oh, okay, so this is real?
Yeah.
And I thought maybe, like, I've done these things before and it's been pretty small and silly, kind of like low key.
Right.
And it's fine. Like, I just didn't realize, like, I should probably prepare.
Yeah. This was like ABC,
It was Fox.
Fox.
So I get there and they're miking us up and they're like, okay, so they're going to come up. They have no idea they're showing up for a childbirth class and this couple. And when they get up to the hill, you're just going to start talking and do a class. And we'll just say, go.
Do
Right.
your stuff.
Do your stuff.
Which is like, your
like
stuff is
30
like
minutes.
6-hour class usually.
Yeah. It's like 30 minutes. No big deal. I got this.
That's right.
So I can
Well-
talk for 30.
So I've gone through your class, and you know, it was fun. Like, you make learning about childbirth and learning about all the things that you need super fun. You know, and you were telling me, oh, you know, it's so much fun to have people who in the class that I can actually like bounce stuff off of. How were they in your class? Were they like helpful? Were they funny, interesting, or were they
Okay,
kind of
so
like
this particular
sticks in a log?
couple,
Bumps
during
on a
the
log,
show, yeah, bumps on a log.
Bumps in a log, yeah.
They
Sticks
were
in the mud.
giggly. They
Oh,
were
they
super
were.
giggly and handsy with each other, and it was super adorable.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was thinking, how can I make them touch each other more? Because this is adorable.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you get a client out of it.
Luckily, during childbirth class, you get to touch each other all over the place. So that's what we did, and it was made for good TV. It was
Yeah.
hot.
I watched it. Now I watched that episode, and it
Yeah.
looked, the way they cut it, it looked like that she felt a little bit awkward when you were like, hey, now if you put your hands right here just above her
On your
butt,
butt.
on her butt, and you know, and you squeeze.
Oh, maybe she looked like she felt awkward, but she liked it.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
You have to look like you feel awkward, but really,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I think she was glad.
Yeah, this is the adult version of the Nevcast.
Yeah,
Welcome.
yeah.
Well, you know,
I know you
family.
wanted to touch your butt.
That's right. I like your butt, looking at it.
That's
the
a
blue
great
jeans
one.
on or off. Anyway,
So, jumping into what you do, why do people need a doula? Why do people call your organization, other than TV producers? Why do couples that are about to give birth, why do they need a doula?
Okay, so here's the origin story. This is why I think doulas exist, because we live in a culture where we're separated from our family, our extended family, our aunts, our cousins who have given birth before. We're
Right.
transitory.
yeah,
We've moved to different locations for jobs, and we don't have that inherited, built-in knowledge anymore of birth. And then on top of that, we've created a hospital culture that's very sterile and a little impersonal, as hard as they try. I work in the hospital setting, and they do try. Everybody cares quite a bit.
Sure.
But there isn't a real good substitute for someone that actually is there only just for you,
Right.
emotionally, and also knows about birth, and will also labor with you at home if you want that before you go to the hospital, and will also take the pressure off dad. We've also in our culture put a lot of pressure on dads to really know everything about everything, even though this may be their first time to go through
Sure.
birth. So
even if it's your second,
even if it's your
still have
second,
no
you still
clue.
don't know. Yeah.
Because it's not happening to your body.
So So you don't know.
You
You don't know
Right?
how.
Mine, yeah.
Maybe during her first birth, she wanted to be massaged, and the second one, you can't touch her. So what are you gonna say? That's the right thing, and then you get yelled at, like you need to leave the room, Peter, because
I heard that one.
Yeah, your singing is too loud. I don't want to hear that. I just
That's
don't want
right.
to look at your face, Peter. Just leave.
Right, and then I'm like, well, I'm gonna become the water boy.
Yeah.
You
so
know,
your
and I was
new
like, I'm really
job
good.
is
I'm
to bring
gonna do
water.
a really good job at heating up this
I know,
water to boiling.
but,
And
I mean, that's what a doula does. Sometimes the dad is in it to win it, and my only job is to be the gopher. So
right,
Yeah.
I'll go for this and I'll go for that, and that's totally fine.
yeah,
So it's a cultural anomaly that has happened over the last probably 50, 70 years.
Yeah.
And with COVID, it just made it worse because family can't travel to come help you, maybe during the birth or
Yeah.
during postpartum. They can't come even into the hospital during birth because
Right.
people are restricted with their visitors. So it became a lonely thing that is even more lonely in the birth process and in the postpartum process.
Well, and it's this amazing, beautiful, miraculous
right.
time that we've turned
Violent,
in.
kind of, too.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
Beautifully violent.
okay.
Kind
But
of messy, you know.
it's messy, but
Yeah.
life is messy, and
Life
we've
is
turned
messy.
it into this emergency that we must
procedure. It's called a procedure.
control
Yeah,
procedure
yeah.
that we
Yeah.
can we've cut off all the people who actually been putting into the creation of this life and said, oh no, it has to be all these experts. And it's almost like we talk about sometimes systemic racism on the Nevcast, and it's almost like systemic isolation is rampant in our culture.
It is. You
right?
have to be super
Systemic
intentional
sterilization or something,
You have to be
right?
super intentional to break that pattern. I think people have that value, but the value of community.
Right.
But you have to be really intentional about growing it. It doesn't just happen. Just like potty training, it doesn't just happen.
Right.
You actually have to
it does not.
just do it. Yeah.
And
So
speaking of which, my son
I
just
know,
had
I'm
an
so excited for you
amazing
guys. This is
poop
huge.
on the potty this morning
Yeah.
that he told me about.
It's the little
and then
things
he
in life,
did it.
man,
I
that
tell
just
ya.
make the
Big.
biggest deal.
You know,
big deal.
outcasts may say whatever they want to about you like to think you're don't stink, but man, I tell you that poop smelled sweet this
Because
morning
Yeah,
because he
okay,
did it.
Yeah.
so
The sweet smell of
think-
courage and self-reliance.
I
There we
think
go.
that is the beauty of doulas is they help you revel in the little things and find joy in the little things. I like to liken it to when you go through a cave for the first time, you definitely don't want to go alone.
Yes.
And you don't
that's
want to
right.
do it unprepared if you've never gone through a cave before. But a cave has very beautiful things to see and very fascinating, mysterious things to find.
True.
There's going to be twists and turns. There's going to be ways that you definitely don't want to go
That's
and
right.
ways that you do want to go and,
Yeah.
and places that you do want to see. So you want a little cave guide to tell you, here's the beauty, here's this cool part, let's go into this part. Oh, hey, we have a choice here and here. We can choose this or we can choose this. Either way is going to be beautiful and good, but one way may be a little bit more precarious than the other. So what do we feel up for? And that is like a doula. She is
Yeah.
a tour guide for
Yeah.
birth, and she helps you see the beauty in those small little scenarios. Hopefully takes pictures along the way, helps enable the dad to
Yeah.
enable and empower the dad to be the kind of helper that he wants to be. And it's just kind of hard to remember all the things you learn in class because that was like one day that you were there, maybe.
Right.
And then helps the mom get in the zone and stay in the zone because she actually is going to do really well. She just needs to know that she can do really well. And our hospital system is not geared towards keeping her feeling empowered.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I feel like it's geared towards making you feel like a patient. And then on top of that, every few minutes you have a new person coming in and observing you, like a weird zoo experiment. And it's a new person you've never met before. And then on top of that, they've got maybe a student that is observing you because you're deciding to go unmedicated, and they've never seen an unmedicated birth. Like 70 to 90% of the births here in Austin are epidural births.
Wow.
And so you have a mom that wants to go unmedicated, at least for even maybe a little bit, and the nursing staff is like, ooh, I need to see this. I need to grab the student so she can kind of watch. And then you have students for the doctors, and then you have students for the postpartum team.
Sounds like Brave New Worldish.
Yeah, it's
you know?
a little bit
Where they're
interesting.
Like, whoa, what is
So-
this strange thing?
Yeah,
It's almost
in
like
the
you're
wild.
fighting to be have kind of the privacy that you need. No mammal just goes and gives birth in front of all these like onlookers. It would be very unsafe.
Yes.
A cat goes into someone else's quiet garage and has
Right.
their babies in
Right.
private, you know. So we turn this thing that was supposed to be a very intimate family thing, where maybe you do have intimate support, into a very not intimate, not family thing, where you do have support, but it's
Yeah.
not intimate and it's not family, and it's very medicalized. And when you look at birth from a medical standpoint, there are any number of potential things that could go wrong, and you are a walking potential emergency. So how
Right.
can I save you from this potential emergency that may not happen? It may happen, but less than 1% of the time. So guess what? You don't get to eat.
Well,
You know, here's
It's
your
almost like
ice chip.
they're
You
like
want an ice
inducing
chip
emergency.
then?
Yeah, here's
Right?
your ice chip. So,
Yeah.
or here's your, okay, you know what? I'm a nice nurse, so I'll give you a popsicle. Okay, so there's that, and then we have, I mean, it's a little bit extreme, but those policies exist in the hospital
Yeah,
setting,
yeah.
and that's why, to prevent a potential emergency. But everything that is done is prophylactic, like just in case we're going to do this.
Interesting.
And
yeah.
that can set up a whole host of real life physical, physiological emergencies that maybe only stem from something emotional
Yeah.
in the beginning. And so a doula comes in and fills that emotional gap.
Right.
Now, do most of the doula, your organization, do most of the doula visits happen in people's houses, or most of them are happening in the hospital these days?
You mean prenatally?
Well, no. When you're actually going into labor,
someone's-
when the couple's going into
So
labor.
if they're able to go into labor on their own, then we want to labor with them at home for as long as possible. So they don't go to the hospital or the birth center too soon, and then their labor slows down because their oxytocin levels lower, because their adrenaline and their cortisol levels rise, and those directly counteract oxytocin. So those
Oxytocin is the feeling good part.
that is the hormone, the feel-good hormone that causes contractions in labor, that has to ramp up and become like a giant snowball that gets bigger and bigger, that
Right.
causes stronger and stronger contractions that release more and more endorphins that enable you to go ahead and have your baby.
And those are
Unless-
directly related to the mother's
Feelings
emotional
of
state.
safety.
Yeah, emotional state.
Yeah,
So when
exactly.
you say cortisol and adrenaline,
Right.
cortisol and adrenaline ramp up if you're not feeling comfortable.
Right.
And we
if
don't
you're
want
feeling
that.
nervous, scared, not comfortable, and
Yeah.
we don't want that. Exactly.
Right.
So when you're in a new sterile location and people are poking you with
Yeah.
needles and trying to go ahead and get your blood just in case. So you come in, they swab your nose with a big old swab down into your brain, and then take your blood, and then set a saline lock, and then you're told to take off your clothes and wear this gown, and then lay in this bed and just lay here and go ahead and just be monitored. And there's lots of beeping and people coming
Yeah.
and going, and it's bright, and it's pretty amazing that women are still able to have babies after
Yeah.
all that.
Well,
like
And
how,
the doula is
how amazing
specifically
is that?
trained to to help with this emotional state that helps keep that stuff going.
Well, but
Right.
I mean, just think about this. Like, what thing do you do in life that you're doing something for the very first time? You've never done it before. It's a big thing that you absolutely, really, really care about, and you're a little bit nervous about. What thing do you then go and say, put me in an even more unfamiliar environment and do all these strange things to me so that I'll be able to actually do this thing that I really want to do? That never happens in anything else in life. Everything in life, when you do something different, out of the ordinary, the thing that you want most is a calming voice that is outside yourself to be able to just speak to you and say, hey, you can do this.
Right.
I'm going to be here with you. I'm going to help walk you through this. And I mean, the word doula actually means helper, right? And so
Slave.
Or slave, okay. It sounded better as helper,
Yeah,
but
okay,
yeah.
all right.
Maid
Right.
servant.
Servant.
But I mean, the idea that somebody is going to come and is going to say, hey, I've walked through this before with lots
Right.
of other people. I see the condition that you're in. You are perfectly normal. You
Right.
are perfectly capable. You can do this. We're going to do this together. Like, that's exactly what you need. And to think that we've taken that away and removed that from people, I just, and I look, we've had, I have 2 kids, and you were there for both my boys' births. And I mean, it was magical. And I'm so thankful.
Aww.
I'm so thankful for the way that you loved on my wife. The way that you loved on my kids, the way that you loved on me, and were super helpful as well, even to the midwife, who was there, and you just made that experience feel intimate, feel family, feel safe, feel like it should be, feel like it was a thing that God blessed us with in our lives. And I just can say thank you,
Aw, you're welcome.
but at the same time, like, man, I just kind of think like, man, I wish everybody could have an Amy Nevland
Aw.
who could guide them through birth, because you just make birth the wonderful experience that it was meant to be,
And
And I think, and I'm pretty sure that all the doulas who work with you probably want to do that same thing. That's probably why you work with them.
all right, I love talking to Amy. I love that you love listening to her.
You seem to like her a lot.
I really like her a whole lot.
Yeah,
It's been
right.
19 years.
That's
and
right.
that we've been married. And so anyways, she's got a lot more to say, and we don't want to cut it too short this time, so we're going to extend it to another episode next week.
So this is the end of part 1. Live on pins and needles until next Wednesday, and we'll be back for part 2.
Right on.
That's it for the Nevcast this time. Join us next week when we talk justice, business, and art in pursuit of Jesus. We will see you soon.